This is Top Secret Marketing, where we use ChatGPT to elevate your marketing and stay ahead of the competition. Picture this: two businesses selling the same product, yet one takes off like a rocket while the other struggles to survive. What sets them apart? Today, we're going to tackle the challenge of creating a brand identity that resonates with your target customers. It also is going to set your business apart. And by the end of this video, you'll have the skills and the tools that you need to transform your brand and propel your business forward. Before I go too far, I'm E, your designated marketing analyst. I've spent the last 10 years helping hundreds of businesses strengthen their brand, maximize their marketing, and grow. And in my experience, one thing always holds true, and that success starts with the fundamentals. In many cases, the fundamentals are the easiest part to skip, and the brand identity falls into this category. But do not skip these steps. These are the pieces that will actually set your business apart and lead to your long-term success or failure. If you put the time in early, you will reap the rewards. However, if you skip these steps, from experience, you will pay the price down the road. So seriously, you don't want to skip it. Luckily though, we are at a point now with technology being what it is that we can use tools like ChatGPT to significantly accelerate this. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple different ways of using ChatGPT to find a brand identity and in many ways do it much, much faster, much more creatively. First thing we want to do to have a successful brand identity is really understanding and knowing our target audience. This allows us to create a tailored message. This allows us to create our design and ultimately gives us something that is irresistible to that target audience. If we know what they're looking for and if we understand and we put ourselves in their shoes, we can create something that they like. So easiest thing to do here is just start by researching your customers' pain points, understanding a little bit more about who they are, their demographics, their interests, all of those different pieces. If you're struggling with that, I've got videos and I'll link here in the upper right where you can take a look at how to do that with ChatGPT to again accelerate that and use the information to build upon for your actual brand identity. Once you've done that, you understand your target audience, the next step here is to actually then begin creating that emotional connection. So how we do that, we're going to look at the tone of voice that we use, something that sets us apart from our competition and actually makes us resonate with our customers. You want to make sure that the brand is friendly, approachable, or maybe you want it to be sophisticated or exclusive. If you can understand what that customer is looking for, that's going to help you to better understand how to communicate with them. We also then want to make sure we have a consistent visual identity. People like to see things, and if they see things repeatedly, they're going to feel more comfortable with it. If you constantly have different logos or different colors or things are inconsistent, your brand is going to blend in because people aren't going to have something to latch on to. Look at the brands and think about the brands that you remember that come to mind and imagine how consistent they are. If I say red, what company do you think of? And then the next piece with that is obviously crafting a compelling brand story. With those pieces, we're going to then take our tone of voice, our target audience, our missions, our values, our unique value proposition, and put those all into a nice little package that allows us to then communicate why the customer should be paying attention to us. And the final piece here, and it's a little bit outside of the technical side of things, is really tying it all together. And this is what's going to put you above, say, an average brand. To really illustrate this point, let's take a look at this device here. So this is a self-lubricating device for steam engines created by Elijah McCoy. Now, you may not have heard of this specific device, but you've probably heard the term the real McCoy. And what is important about this is this device, when Elijah McCoy invented it, he was actually an engineer on the railway. So he worked with these devices, he operated these devices, he knew what the problems were, and he knew, or at least at the time when he was creating this, he probably thought he knew what the solution was. It turns out he did, and it turns out he did such a good job at providing that solution that people started asking for his product specifically and would not use other products. Now, the key with this is he was able then to develop his brand, the real McCoy. People were asking for him specifically. There was an emotional connection to that product because if they didn't have that product, there was a risk or a greater risk of a breakdown, or they would have to stop more frequently. All of those different pieces that they, if you're an engineer, you don't want to break down in the middle of nowhere on a railroad track in the 1800s. It's not an ideal situation. So having that allows them to feel more comfortable, feel safer. It builds that loyalty. And the other thing too is it builds a moat around your product. So even if there are other products coming up, and I'm sure there were products that were of lower quality, of higher quality, of equal quality perhaps, that were on the market, but because they didn't have the name recognition, they were not able to command the same value that this device was. So bear that in mind when you're creating your brand. You want it to be authentic. You want it to be something that you can deliver on, not just because it's going to make a better quality product, but because your customers are going to recognize if you're inauthentic, and it's going to make it very difficult to sell because people aren't going to trust you, or you're not going to know how to build that trust with your target audience in a way that's going to make them exchange money for a product or service that you're offering. So with that, great. So let's talk about accelerating this process and making this much, much easier. We are going to use GPT-4. This will work with just ChatGPT. You don't have to pay for. Jumping right in, if you guys want to follow along, what you're going to need is a business summary, product, services, a little bit about your business, what sets you apart, your goals for the business. They don't have to be financial goals, but more of your customer-centric goals. What are you trying to provide? We want to be the best at this for this group of people, something along those lines. You're going to want to have your target audience, couple pain points, and then the unique selling proposition that you bring to the table for your customers. With all of those, if you could put them in a sheet, put them in a spreadsheet, or put them, just in a Word doc so that you can copy and paste them, I find that makes that process a lot easier. All right, we will jump into ChatGPT. Here we are over at ChatGPT. We're going to jump into GPT-4. You create a brand for my business, beach ball in. So beach products of being the trendiest way, and we're going to use our target audience, see what it gives us. Unfortunately, our brand is not Sunsway, so not bad. Let's see, give some information about the logo. Ride the wave, embrace the shade. That's not bad. Provide enthusiasts when travelers with high quality, fashionable, sustainable sun products. And brand values. Okay. Brand aesthetic, marketing strategies, packaging, website. Okay. So we're missing a couple items. Let's see if we can get ChatGPT to provide us with a couple different things. Okay. So not bad. Let's take a look. We've got, it's relevant to our target audience. So no brand voice. Let's see. Giving us a lot of detail on how we can communicate. While that's working on that, let's just take a look at our visual identity, brand aesthetic. Okay, clean, modern. We'll call that our visual identity. Our brand story. We don't really have a brand story. Okay. This is nice. Like it's just automatically providing Sunsway's brand voice and action. It's going to give us everything. This is awesome. And the last thing we need here is just a compelling brand story. Not quite sure that's what we're looking for, but let me see if we can. Sunsway, that's our new brand name. Sunsway in you recommended. Get the idea here. A quick look with this. Give us a pretty good starting point. There were some, it's not super consistent with what we're looking for, but it did give us some nice surprises here. A little bit about the packaging, a little bit about the website. This is really a nice surprise. This is new to GPT-4 from when I've run this before, but that's a really awesome, helpful addition to that. And then coming on down here, the brand story. I mean, this is quite a brand story, but this would be something maybe you could put on an About Us page or, turn into a little video or something like that and have it as an intro. But just you could see how in a matter of just a few minutes, do a lot of information. And if nothing else, give you just a 90% starting point where you just have to tweak a couple things and you can have this up and running, maybe ask a couple more questions, but extremely powerful. So let's jump in. There's another way we can do this. It's even faster, a little bit more consistent, built more around the needs that we've discussed in marketing. So let's jump over to that. I'll show you how that works. We're going to use the GPT-4 model. We're going to use a pre-built prompt, walk us through building a brand identity and give us all the information that we need. The information we're going to use is going to come from the previous video. So beach ballin', bowl is going to be the trendiest way to protect yourself from the sun. Okay, so we are going to give our target audience and as much information as possible and their pain points. Okay, let's jump to the top here and see what it gave us. So strong brand personality for beach ballin', targeting our beach-loving millennials, fashionable travelers, and parents with kids going to the beach. So we want to be energetic and vibrant, definitely stylish and trendy, absolutely, and sustainable and ethical. 3 core values, all in line there, and then consistent visual identity. So we don't have to go through all of this, but just so you get an idea of all of the information it provides us, brand story. I mean, this is where I think GPT-4 really shines, is this essentially kind of creative writing in context where it's going to give you this is amazing. And then this last piece here is a piece that I built in that just helps me to understand as I'm thinking forward and as I'm planning this out, but the overall customer experience map. So what is this? What is the first step of engaging with a customer look like versus all the way through until the very end and then turning into a returning customer? And then a few brands just to take a look at. And this last piece here, I just always copy and paste that and save that. So I have a short version of the brand guidelines if I ever need it. So as you can see, extremely powerful, very simple. You just provide it with some information and you're able to go from there. Prompts, the answers that I'm copying and pasting in, I'm stacking outputs from previous prompts that I've built. You can do the same thing with your own series of prompts if you've got a specific process that you like to follow, or you can find those as well. Never ever ceases to amaze me how powerful that tool is. With that in mind, if you're doing this on a larger scale, or if you just like something that's more consistent, maybe you want to reevaluate your brand on a every 6-month basis or things like that, you want to be able to have consistent answers coming through. One of the best ways to do that I found is using pre-built prompts. Essentially just saves you time, gives you that consistency, and then gives you the output that you're looking for. And what's really cool about these is you can tailor them to your specific needs. So you can build them to your specific business and make sure that it's got all of the information that you need in there. And then you can use it as your secret weapon. So, if you're a business owner and you've got several businesses and you want to use this same tactic on multiple places, or you're trying to bring brands together, or there's a whole range of different ways that you can use this, but it can be your secret weapon to accelerate essentially your success and get you much, much closer to where you want to go much, much faster compared to everybody else. Almost too easy. If you like that prompt, you want to give it a try, you can grab that for free. There's a link in the description that will say free on it. And then if you want to support the channel, you can also go over to PromptBase and purchase that same prompt and my other prompts as well to accelerate your marketing and speed things up. Share how AI has transformed your brand and how you're using it, and let us know in the comments. Let's grow this together. Let's improve our brands. Let's keep building and building and building and really take advantage of this technology. And if this information is useful to you and you guys like this, let me know. Like the video. I'll keep making more of these. And then don't forget to subscribe